Today I want to build an epic village in a mangrove swamp and design houses for every single villager profession. Hi, I'm Sevaris. Let's start building. Villagers don't generate in this thick mangrove swamp, and it's dangerous too because mobs could spawn here. Okay, what does spawn here is kinda cute though. Look at the fishies. There are 13 villager professions plus the Nitwit, and I think making a house for each of them should be a really fun challenge. But I do wonder, where should I build this village? I'd love to have it next to my base, which is gonna require a lot of work because I need to fit 13 plus houses into this area. I'm gonna need tons of dirt for the landscaping, and the best way to get it is to go to an area far away and destroy it. I just need to go fix some of my tools real quick. And done. It seems like I've been here before. Let's destroy this area. And this is how you professionally destroy the world. And now we have lots of dirt. I'm terribly sorry for destroying your home horse. I need to go get some mud now because I have a really cool idea for it. I'm gonna look for a mangrove swamp far away because I don't want to destroy the one at my base. This one here will do. Well, I destroyed yet another area in this mangrove swamp. But look at all this stuff. Now let's go back home and farm some wheat because I'm cool. Just kidding, but I need the wheat to turn the mud into packed mud and mud bricks. Well, that's all the wheat harvested. I'm gonna start marking out the area for the village. It will start here at the steep swamp water pool and stretch out all the way over here. It's kinda hard to plant this with all the thick trees in the way, so let's get rid of them real quick. Isn't it funny how Mojang added the mangroves to show us the importance of these trees in real life? And here I am, deforesting the mangrove swamp. Don't do this at home, kids. My villagers need a place to live. Seriously, look at my villagers all stuffed in there. They've never seen the sky in their life. So time to change that. Now we have this huge open area looking really nice with the exception of this ugly muddy ground. Since I'm gonna build over this anyways, I might as well harvest the mud to use later on. Well, this looks even uglier now, but I'm gonna put all this dirt here to good use. It is terraforming time. So I got my hands dirty, haha, get it? Okay, that was so bad, I'm sorry. I terraformed this land, creating huge plateaus, I think that's what you call them, for many houses to sit on. It wasn't just complicated to terraform the land, but also to make sure that enough houses can fit on there. As you can see, I also made a staircase to my main base and I tried to make a path using packed mud and mud bricks. It's gonna help me to figure out where the houses are gonna go, like a house right here, then one over here, and then of course tons of houses spread all over this area. But I was thinking, this grass looks really terrible and it just changes color constantly. But there is one block that doesn't change color no matter what biome it's in. It is moss. So let's spread moss and harvest some great stuff at the same time, like those azalea bushes. Can you see the difference? This is so good. And I think the best way to get rid of all of this stuff growing on top of the moss is to water bucket it. Well, that was an epic fail. Aha! That's what I'm talking about. Look at this. Bye-bye, carpets. Oh my gosh, look who came. That means he accepts this place as a village. Welcome. Before it looked like a really sad swampy area, but now it's lush and green. Yeah, I think I can work with this. Now what I've been looking forward to the most, the designing of the houses. And I thought what better way to build a village than to learn from the villagers themselves. Let's fly over to this village here for some good old villager architecture education. They aren't very good at building, especially because of their choice of materials. I mean, cobblestone and oak is so 2012. Not to mention their terraforming is ugly. But we can still take a thing or two away from this visit. Now I know what not to do. Then I went into a creative test world where I spawned in a ton of villages until I collected all the houses for the different professions to take inspiration from. Let me show you an example of what I did. This is the cleric's house or the church, and then I turned it into this build. You will see the other houses very soon. So let me tell you what materials I'm going to use. Obviously packed mud and mud bricks and mangrove of course, and I have lots and the leaves in a storage out here because the storage inside was full, which is why I also filled these barrels with mangrove wood. Somebody yell at me in the comments to make a bigger storage room, please. I also want to use a lot of spruce wood for this project. Then let's also mix in some of the stone and stone bricks and andesite. Also cobblestone, you know, taking inspiration from the hideous villager houses. We're gonna use it too, but not as terrible as they did. I've just been to the skeleton farm and collected tons of armor to use for the first villager house. I'm sure you can guess it's gonna be the armorer. I think I want to build this house towards the back here, this area. What is that? It's a baby slime! Oh, it's so cute! Oh, it died. No more distractions, let's build the armorer's house. The house itself is pretty small. It's made of mangrove wood and spruce. I mixed in some red terracotta on the roof as well, but the armorer has a big outside workstation where he forges armor out of iron. I also included some smaller ponds because this is a swamp after all. Well, here it is, the armorer's house, and it's not just an ordinary villager house. This one is also an armor shop, as you can see by the shop sign over here. Then we have a market store right here, and I have some water flowing through right here. I love it. So here's the armor, and here's all the armor except netherite because I'm not farming netherite. And then over here is the workstation with an iron wagon, and of course the furnace, a huge blast furnace, and tons of lava down there. The poor villager doesn't have much room in here though, as you can see, just some storage, table and chair, and the bed. And the armor is behind here. But hey, he will be fine. Villagers don't need a lot of space. I do, unfortunately, which is why my stuff is still out here. I've been thinking it's gonna be pretty hard to keep track of all the villager professions we've already built houses for. So I want to make something like a huge board where I can keep track of all of them. And they're all on here plus 2 extra, the Nitwit house and make village pretty. And I put glowing sacks in this chest here, so once we completed the house, I can just dye this and we know it is done. Well, let me get back to grinding for more houses. I got some lava from a cave, then went into the nether to get some soul saw, stripped some spruce wood because I love doing it, just kidding, I can imagine doing cooler things. Then I also stripped mangrove logs because the spruce felt lonely. I took a quick trip to the emerald factory to restock on food. Then I planted a ton of saplings in order to grow giant spruce trees next to each other to form a mega tree I could chop down for unlimited spruce wood. I also looked for a bee nest to harvest honeycomb so I can make candles. Then I snuck back into the ugly village and stole their precious bell from right under their noses and ran away. And just a few hours later, I gathered resources for 4 more villager houses. Let's work on the builds that go on top of the highest plateau in the village first. Let's build! The Fletcher is the first house I'm building, with a stone brick wall mixed with andesite and a mangrove roof with a spruce trim. I also made this house really open with a lot of fences instead of walls. Swamp villagers don't really get cold, so some fresh air is good for them. I also created a shooting range outside, and it's a funny coincidence that my own target practice spot at my base is right on the cliff above the Fletcher's house. And this is the interior of the Fletcher's house. We've got a bow and arrow and some storage and of course their workstations. But onwards we go to house number 3. Next is the butcher, the guy who brutally murders animals to eat them, who knew villagers had a dark side. This butcher has a 2-story house. This time I used mangrove and red terracotta walls to emphasize on the bloodshed that happens in these 4 walls. I also made an animal pen for the butcher to mistreat poor creatures. Whoever's gonna move into this house is gonna be a really cruel man. But same as the armorer over there, this house is also going to be a butcher shop where the cruel villager is gonna sell the meat from his poor victims. He has an assortment of terrible torturing butcher tools and some meat, and I don't want to step into the blood right here, and he cooks their meat with lava. And when we go up the ladder, here is his bedroom. This is where he dreams about torturing unfortunate animals. Speaking of unfortunate animals, I made a pen over here and I made it look like a pig pen. So I guess we have to move unfortunate pigs into this place. Oh, look what I found. Here are the pigs. Well, this is gonna take a while. Welcome to your new home. Oops, I guess there's gonna be 3 pigs now. They'll be fine, they can always bite the butcher. I heard pigs are really good biters. Before we work on the next houses, I need to make a path and connect it up to the ones we just built. This path should do for now, and the sun is setting, so we better get right into bed so we can continue building the houses in the morning. This time I won't tell you which villager house it is just yet, and let's see if you can guess. This house is lush and overgrown. Moss has overtaken the walls and grass and leaves are growing on the mangrove roof. The house also has a little garden with all sorts of plants growing there. This is of course the Cartographer's house. It's so overgrown and full of plants because the Cartographer is never home. He's always out exploring and finding new areas to study. Let's take a look inside because the Cartographer has a huge collection of rare items such as the dripstone or the amethyst crystal or end and nether blocks. He even has a buried treasure map that he hasn't yet discovered and a map of our area. That actually reminds me, I keep a map of my area in my base and I haven't updated it in ages. I even created some new maps that we can add so we can take a look at the entire base from above. Look at all this space we still have to build a huge base, and this is the village we're building today. But let's get back into it because we still have so many houses to build. And here we have the cleric's house, which is of course a church. I started with mud walls that will hold the rest of the build in place, then went 1 block inward to build a mangrove wall on top. Then I made a big tower roof with a smaller tower on top that has a cross at the very top. I said top too many times. The build also has a smaller bit with a crimson roof, which complements the magenta windows. I also made a swampy sitting area outside with chairs, leaves, and a pond. And here we have the church, the tallest build in this village to indicate its importance. This path here leads to a worshipping area, and it looks like they're worshipping mangrove propagules. They will all gather here and worship the sapling that brought this whole forest to life. And this is what I needed the candles for. I tried to make reeds using glass pane and a brown candle on top. It looks really cool from over here. Let's also quickly take a look inside. We have some warts growing, some brewing stations as the workstation for the cleric, and some potions on the wall. And this ladder up here leads to a clock tower. Ding dong! Please subscribe and hit the bell. That was so cringe. It is time to go back to the planning board and tick off the houses we built off the list. Those noises were so gross. This guy's living a dangerous life. I mean, what if he would accidentally come on full time? What? That was creepy. Last episode I said if the video got 100 likes, I would change my haircut on my Minecraft skin. And we got 200 likes again. Thank you so much, guys. So let's change my haircut. So I went to a skin editor and started working on my new hair. So instead of just changing my skin, I decided to do something cringe. Oh look, I made a barbershop. I'm so cringe, and it even has interior. And this is my new haircut. Let me know if you like it. Also, if this video gets 150 likes, I'm gonna get a pet pillager. Don't you just love when all the materials you need are right in your storage room and we can get back to building? The Nitwit is a weird villager. I'm sure he has some sort of secret profession that he doesn't want to share with the player. I made his house green with a mangrove roof. He lives a simple life, which makes him even more suspicious. This is the Nitwit's house. We even have some basic interior and a mysterious trapdoor leading down to a tunnel. I told you the Nitwit was hiding something. And at the bottom we emerge into a creepy mine shaft. That Nitwit is sus. I also started working on some decorating between the houses we already built, such as a beautiful path, lots of greenery and fences and lighting around it, and I made a tiny baby mangrove tree. Over here I have another tiny custom mangrove tree, and then up here I have two big trees leading to the village. So when we come in, we see huge mangrove trees greeting us. And I made a cute pond down here and put some tropical fish in, and they keep swimming up. Oh, and some of them have already died. Whoopsie. But let's take a step back and look at what we already made. This huge custom terrain. I made 6 villager houses in this area, and there's still so much to do. 8 more villager houses to be exact, and we still need to move all the villagers in. Unfortunately, we're all out of video time for today, which means you have to wait for the next video to see part 2 of this amazing mangrove village. Please like and subscribe, check out the video on the screen, and see you next week with part 2 of the mangrove village.